Welcome back to Behind the Print podcast, where we feature industry leaders and uncover the creative minds and their businesses within the world of professional printing. Our mission is to provide you with inspiring, actionable resources that elevate your business projects and accelerate your journey to excellence in profit and print. Today's episode is Stoking the Fire Between Dance as Art and a Sport. And Southeast Dance Academy co-director and instructor, Taylor Wilson.
Hello.
Hey, so how's your day been?
My day's been great. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad you're having a good day. But can you tell us a bit about Southeast Dance Academy and your role as the co-director?
Absolutely. So Southeast Dance Academy is a family-owned dance studio in the heart of Wilmington, North Carolina. We have been in our current building. We built it whenever I was in fourth grade. And since we're a family-owned business, I spent all of my informal dance training through adolescence here, learning under our owner, my grandmother, Lynn Rayleigh. And yeah, we started off as two smaller businesses, and then we built our building and consolidated those dance studios into what is known as Southeast Dance Academy now. Yeah, and so I now teach here and I co-direct for our whole business. I work in the office as our office assistant to our office manager, and I'm the director of our performing company as well.
That's awesome. So it's been in the family. Tell me, what has dance meant in your own life, and how do your experiences show up in your choreography or teaching style?
So I think the most relevant information about dance and what it's meant in my own life is probably just an outlet for me to be able to express whatever season of life that I am going through, whether that is in interpersonal relationships or that's just living the human experience in the world and dealing with things that happen on a day-to-day basis or a year-to-year basis. So having the ability and the information and the knowledge to portray those real life events through dance and through art in that way is really transformative and healing. I am a firm believer that dance is art, and art is in our society to say the things that are uncomfortable and to bring awareness and to portray messages to people that might not have that perspective or access to that perspective. So if my personal story can be portrayed through dance and then seen by anybody who might have experienced something similar or never thought that experience was something other people dealt with, then it's a win for me. The goal has been accomplished.
That's a really cool story. I love that. And I bet it inspires a lot of younger people too who have not quite found their footing to really just take a stand and get out there.
I would hope so. I definitely think I work with all ages of students, and I definitely think that for my younger kiddos, choreography and dance as art helps them be able to express themselves, and they use it as a tool to be able to learn about a new emotion or express something that they might not have the information or the words for, but they can have the feeling through dance. And then for my older students, it gives them the outlet to express those feelings because older students don't always feel like they have an outlet to safely express their feelings, or it teaches them about an experience that maybe a peer has gone through or something that they aren't sure how to navigate. So I think it's beneficial across all planes.
That's amazing. So tell me, how do you foster creativity and communication in a competitive and emotionally driven space like dance, as you were mentioning?
So we are, above all else, a family business, a dance family. My students are part of our dance family, their parents, their siblings. So we foster competitiveness very gently. I think that there is strength in competing in a healthy environment with your peers. A machine that is always pushing towards a common goal through teamwork will achieve that goal quicker. And so if one of my students' peers gets a new skill then I can almost guarantee that at least one other student in that class is going to be pushing to get that skill in and out of the studio because they want to be able to do the same cool things that their classmates can do. So, in that essence, the competitive nature is extremely positive and it works in our benefit. I think that it's all about how you sort of approach your class culture. And the culture of that starts from the very first time they step into the studio and just identifying to them like when one of us wins, we all win. And those wins don't always look like trophies. Those wins sometimes look like getting a thing that you've been trying so hard for weeks or months or years and achieving it. And then we all celebrate you together.
I love the passion behind that. That's so inspiring, and it's true. You see it in every day too. You kind of see somebody else getting ahead, and it motivates you. It keeps you on top of yourself and in check, and just aspiring to do great things.
Absolutely. 100%. That's what it's all about.
Yes, I agree. So, what is a moment in your career that you were reminded of why you do this work?
I would say a moment that sticks out to me is actually whenever I was living in Chicago right before the pandemic. I was working professionally as a dancer, and then I was also the co-director of a studio there, and that was my first sort of role in leadership in a dance studio setting. And I taught this adult class, and I'd never taught an adult class before. I was a little intimidated because I was at the time 21, 22, 23. So I was a baby adult and I was teaching people that were a little younger and a little older than me. And I just wasn't sure how to approach that curriculum. I wasn't really confident in what normal adults wanted out of their dance education, but I just came to it with authenticity and transparency. And one of those adults actually on the last day of class wrote me like a really beautiful letter and just reminded me of like how myself just showing up and giving the information with love and with grace and with light and trying to let there be one win each night they were there helped him in a way that I never would have expected that I could have touched somebody else's life. It reminded me that the work we do in the studio transfers into the webs of the rest of the world and how we see things and approach things. And I just never had thought of my teaching to be impactful in the way in which it impacted him. And so I keep that letter in like a keepsake box and I refer back to it every once in a while whenever I'm having a moment where I just need to be uplifted or having a moment of needing to be reminded of like that the work is good. So I would say that's one of my like golden memories of my teaching for sure.
That's amazing. You never know what type of mark you'll leave in somebody's life until maybe you don't ever find out, but we're all just learning and we're all teaching each other, and that's really cool. I love that story.
Exactly, yeah. And it also taught me that when people make a mark in your life, that it is something that you should tell them about. I feel like very often you look back or you're experiencing something and you're like, wow, like that person is really valuable to me, or they're really impacting me. I'm really thankful for them. I'm looking forward to seeing them, or they carry a light that I wish I possessed, or they inspire me. And sometimes we think those thoughts, but it feels so good to receive that information on the other end that we should tell them that. You never know like how that's going to be carried with them for the rest of their life and be like a little core memory or a little nugget of information that they can reference to. So I think it's important that we share that with people as well.
I totally agree. I love that so much. So, on the flip side, tell me about fundraising. How do you guys fundraise?
So we fundraise primarily for our competitive teams, and we do so through our Booster Club, which is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization. So we have a board of our Booster Club, and they create fundraising ideas and they ask for participation from my teams. And since they are a nonprofit, I believe that it's whoever wants to participate can, and whatever the funds we pull in from that participation get divided between everyone on the team. That booster club and organization is separate from our main business here, and that's how they remain a nonprofit. And so, as director, we are not allowed on the board. We don't really have much information privy to the ins and outs of that, but they tell us like how much is in the like magical pot of money that has been fundraised, because what they do is with that, they divide up amongst all of our students, and they'll end up covering one dance for each dancer for each competition, or they'll do things like contribute food to like a team party or something like that. It brings our teams together. We have one designated parent for each team that sort of helps communicate with them. And so like at our holiday show, for instance, each of our teams does like a raffle basket, and the proceeds of the raffle basket goes into the booster club. So like and that's open to the whole studio, not just my team for the raffle. So it washes the hands and pulls everything in. So that's primarily how we do all of our fundraising.
Right. So tell me about your printed materials and which ones that are particularly loved or fond of or loved by your dancers and by your teams.
We do a few printed materials each year. I know our biggest one is our end of year program book. I actually might have one here with us. Yeah, this was our issue last year that we did through you. Yeah. So this is probably everyone's favorite for several reasons, but most importantly because our clients can purchase ads of their dancers to go into this program book. So it is full of what makes us. So everything from the little 2-year-old and her grandma wants to like put her little dance picture up and just be like, Grandma loves you so much. I'm so proud of you. You're going to be beautiful on stage. To our 18-year-old graduating senior who's been dancing with us for the last 16 years of her life. So it is truly like the best way. I remember we've been doing a program book for as long as I can remember, and I have a stack of our program books and how they've evolved through the years. And it was always so fun to me, especially in college, to be able to flip through and see all my old friends or see like how I had grown through the years. And my grandmother put them out at my graduation party from high school and like pulled pictures from each of them to show like the evolution of my dance journey so far. And I'm sure other people's families utilize them for that reason as well. Recently, we've been doing like a cover model, and we've been doing a raffle for our front cover. Our front cover used to just be a picture of our big production because that pulls into our theme. But recently, we've been doing a raffle for the cover model. So any student at my studio has the opportunity to be on our front cover by chance, essentially. And they get their own special photo shoot in our photo week. And then my wonderful client that makes our front cover, she like makes the magic. That's Miss Paula. She's phenomenal. She makes the magic happen with our front cover, and then they get like the glory of knowing that like everyone in our recital has like the book with them on the cover, and it's a huge deal. And then to promote the cover next year, we have this book blown up like this big, and it's like buy your raffle ticket, you could be this girl or this boy. We've never had a boy yet, but you could be this person. So it's one of our favorite printed materials, and I mean, everyone who participates in our recital, part of their like performance package is they receive a copy of this book. So it's different than like we do t-shirts and things through the years as well, but you can outgrow a t-shirt. I know some people might save t-shirts and make them into a quilt or something like that, but there's not a picture of them. You can't compare how they've grown. And oh, look, 4 years ago you had just gotten that heel stretch, and look at you now, like it's way up here and it's so much better. We were so proud of it then, but now it's like, wow. You know what I mean? There's just a difference in pictures, and it's all saved right here in this book. And we always keep a copy here at the studio in of each year, and we put them out to promote the show in our lobby, and seeing the kids flip through them every year. It's what it's all about. It's the magic.
For sure. I bet their faces just light up and glow when they see themselves in the magazine. It's so unique to experience.
They really do, yeah. And then seeing them like the next year before this year's comes out, because they forget, like you forget little details and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't remember you did that. Or wow, like we were in class with her. I can't believe that. And so it's a good way to drum up excitement as well for the show. And the parents that are new to the studio, they get to see this and they're like, wow, like this isn't just like on Saturday we do a recital. Like, no, like this is a big deal. There's a reason that you've committed to bringing them to us at least once a week for all of these weeks. It's a big deal. They're in a magazine. Like, so it's worth it.
So true, so true. So, is there any advice you would give educators or other coaches of dance studios looking to publish a magazine for their dancers?
Well, advice about whether it's worth the work and the time to make it happen, I would say yes. For camaraderie, for the buzz, for the professionalism of your show, and for the memory keepsake for your clients, it's 100% worth it through our lens. Advice to how to prepare your book, because a lot of preparation does go into this. I would say you can never start too soon on preparing your book. Be very clear with your deadlines and your timelines. I know for us, we have two of my office staff working on our book. And then we have our outside Miss Paula that does the cover. We plan our photo week at a time where we can receive our photos back to be used inside of our book. And we have like several deadlines. I mean, we have a deadline for like we can't submit ads after this deadline. We have a deadline of like everything has to be done by this time so we can send it to go to print and receive them back. I mean, my office manager, Miss Sherry, works tirelessly. She designs all of these pages and works on a software for them on our computer. And then once they're all done, they get printed. And once they get printed, they get all laid out for myself and our owner, Lynn. And we go through them and we decide like what's on what page and what looks best for the flow of the book. And so, I mean, my biggest advice is just create an action plan and stick to it and don't be afraid of trial and error. We are a pretty well-oiled machine and we are still learning and growing every year. There is a mistake somewhere. We are like eight eyes looking at hundreds of pages. You know what I mean? So, like, give yourself a little grace, but have a plan. It's worth it, but we work on our book for over a month before it goes to print.
Wow,
So, yeah,
that's a
it's a
deadline.
commitment. Yeah, it's a commitment for sure, but it's 100% worth it in the end. So, my advice, just have a plan and think about what your goal is for it. Our goal is to create the best book possible and have it be a lifelong memory. And for us, that means it's organized and it's well curated and it is in our clients' hands on time to be celebrated. For us, it isn't a memory if they don't get it before the show. It doesn't drum up excitement if they don't receive it the week going into show week. And so we have those deadlines to make the magic. So they have to be adhered to. Everyone's excitement and what they want out of a book like this will be different. So just like what's genuine to you and your business and your goals and make those happen.
That's amazing that you guys get it all done. And I love the editing on the inside. I've went through it myself and you're so right about the design on the inside. It just flows so naturally between the ads and the pictures of like all the students. I can definitely tell a lot of work went into your guys' book.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we are always learning how to make it happen better. That's for sure. We're always taking helpful tips from our sister studios and other businesses we're very close with. And that's how we stay growing and that's how we stay evolving. Oh, we like this. Oh, this would be a cool idea. So I appreciate that. It's a priority to us. We work very hard on this. And the day they arrive in the mail from you guys and we each crack open our first book here, it's so exciting. It's one of my favorite days of the year.
Oh, I bet. Well, pat yourself on the back because you guys do amazing.
Thank you.
So, if you have a day totally free, no dance bags, no costume fittings, no photo shoots, how would you spend it?
I spend 100% of my free days with my family. So that's part of the reason why I moved back to Wilmington. It's so that I could be close. I have both of my parents here. I have a set of grandparents here. My three younger siblings are here. And then, of course, my husband and our son. So I am with family 100% of my days off. And whether that looks like morning coffee and ice cream in the afternoon, or Wilmington is a beach town, so spring and summer it's beach season. So whether at pool or the beach or having a cookout, time together, togetherness to recharge and sort of just be. I don't love a to-do list whenever I don't have one for the business. So just waking up and having nothing to do with the people I love most. That's how my days off are spent.
That's amazing. I love that. That's so sweet. So tell me, where can our listeners follow along with you and the Southeast Dance Academy?
So you can follow along with us on our social media, on our Facebook or our Instagram or our website. We upload each of our year's recital end of year concert onto our website. And we actually just redesigned our website last summer. So it's much more integrated and a better direct reflection of our studio culture. And so you can follow along with us there. You can also see us through different competitions and conventions that we attend through the year. We always post about where we are at, so you can always see us through their live streams or on our socials that way. And then, of course, we also do an end of the year slideshow as a photo recap. We let all of our parents sort of pour photos into a Google Drive and we create a slideshow for our end of year concert. And that's posted as well. So that's a good recap for moments that might not be seen in our end of year book. So you can follow along with us there.
Amazing. Well, thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Truly, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, it was so awesome hearing about all the great tips and tricks and the great stories that you have to tell behind the Dance Academy and the Southeast Dance Academy and everything that they've done throughout the years. That's just amazing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you featuring us. We're very excited.
Of course. But that's another episode of Behind the Print podcast. Thanks to our listeners for joining us as we have explored the innovation of the printing world. Remember, having a strong vision, building the right strategy, and using tools like print to amplify your message will make your brand stand out from the crowd. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to stop by printingcenterusa.com and get your free sample pack today to share with your fellow business enthusiasts. Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying and remember, there's always more to discover behind the print.